Welcome back to Science in Sleeping. I'm so glad you've joined me tonight. I hope you're tucked in somewhere cozy, perhaps under a warm blanket or nestled in a favorite pillow. Tonight, we're drifting into a story of discovery, curiosity, and the quiet ways the world has nearly met its end. But don't worry, you're safe here, just listening, just breathing. You might even feel your shoulders loosen, your mind slowing as we explore together. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to acknowledge you. Wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is, it matters to me that you're here. I'd love to know where you're watching from and maybe even peek at the clock, but only if it feels relaxing. No pressure at all. This is your time to settle in, to drift, to be gently carried by curiosity and calm. Tonight's journey has two purposes, and both are perfectly allowed. First, we'll gently wander through some of the most fascinating moments when our world almost changed forever. Moments of danger, wonder, and extraordinary coincidence. And second, you're here to rest, to release the day, to let your mind float like clouds across the night sky. It's okay if some of the details slip away. You don't need to remember anything. Just let your thoughts follow the rhythm of my voice. Like waves lapping softly on a shore, let's begin with the first tale. But before we dive into history and science, I want you to notice how you're breathing. Inhale slowly, filling your lung, and exhale gently, letting tension fall away. Feel your body sinking into your mattress, the pillow supporting your head, the blanket brushing against your arms. Everything is exactly as it should be. You are safe, you are calm, and you are exactly where you need to be. Our first story takes place millions of years ago, long before humans walked the earth. Picture a world dominated by creatures unlike any we know today. Giant reptiles, enormous insects, and skies filled with unimaginable sights in this world. Forces far beyond any single creature's control were at play. Powerful, silent, and relentless, yet somehow part of a perfect balance. It is here we will witness the first of 5 times the world nearly ended. As you listen, you might notice your eyelids growing heavier, and that's perfectly fine. You don't need to fight it. Just allow your curiosity to mingle with calm. Let the story be both a lullaby and an adventure, guiding you gently towards sleep. In a moment, we'll explore the asteroid that forever changed life on Earth. But for now, simply breathe, simply listen, simply exist in this quiet, safe space we've created together. Tonight, there is no rush, there are no deadlines, no obligations, just this gentle journey and you drifting into the night. Your imagination will paint scenes from long ago, and your body will relax with every word. By the time we move through all 5 stories, your mind will feel lighter, your thoughts quieter, and your body ready for deep, restorative sleep. So settle in, get comfortable, let your eyelids soften, and let's begin the first story. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the sky itself decided to change everything you know? Imagine a moment so powerful that it could rewrite the story of life, yet so distant in time that it feels almost like a dream. Could a single rock, hurtling through the cosmos, hold the fate of countless creatures in its silent, unseen hands? Picture yourself standing on a quiet plain. Long ago, the air is warm, filled with the scents of ancient forests and distant oceans. In the distance, Enormous creatures roam, unaware of the invisible forces moving above them. The sky stretches wide and unbroken, a canvas of soft blues and drifting clouds. You feel small, yet connected, as though every leaf, every creature, every gust of wind is part of a gentle cosmic dance millions of years ago. A rock from the depths of space, no larger than a mountain, traveled across the solar system with a single purpose. It wasn't conscious, of course, but its trajectory was precise, guided by gravity and chance. When it struck Earth, the collision released energy beyond comprehension. A fireball brighter than 1,000 suns lit the skies. Shockwaves rippled across continents, and dust and ash rose to cloak the planet in darkness. For months, sunlight struggled to reach the ground. Plants withered, temperatures dropped, and the air itself carried the scent of change. This asteroid impact, known to scientists as the Chicxulub event, reshaped life forever. 90% of large species, including the mighty dinosaurs, vanished, leaving room for mammals, tiny and unnoticed at the time, to explore new opportunities. Think of it as a cosmic reset button, a reminder that life is resilient, and that endings often carry the seeds of new beginnings. Did you know that microscopic droplets of molten rock rained down for miles, creating brief flashes of liquid fire, or that some fish survived in deep oceans, tucked away from the chaos above? Life adapted, persisted, and eventually flourished in ways no one could have predicted. It's amazing to consider the precision of the cosmos, how orbits, collisions, and probabilities can shape destinies across eons. And yet, despite the destruction, there is a strange beauty in this event. The asteroid was not evil, it was simply part of a larger story. A reminder that change is inevitable, that even the most dramatic endings lead to new possibilities. Imagine the courage of life itself to continue to evolve, to fill the world again with song, color, and movement. As you drift through this thought, let your mind wander among the stars. Picture the asteroid as a quiet messenger, a distant whisper of the immense forces around us. Life, fragile yet tenacious, finds a way to persist, and you, listening now, are part of this same vast story. The universe is patient, the cosmos slow, yet every moment carries the possibility of wonder, of change, of gentle awe. And as we linger in this reflection, imagining the sky both destructive and beautiful, let's prepare to drift to the next chapter of Cosmic Surprises, where another invisible force will show us how fragile and miraculous our world truly is. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the ground beneath your feet suddenly remembered its ancient power? A force so immense that it could reshape the land, the sky, and the lives of every creature nearby. Imagine the subtle rumble at first, like a whisper beneath the soil, growing slowly into a voice that commands attention. Could one hidden mountain, sleeping for thousands of years, hold the ability to change life as we know it? Picture yourself standing in a wide valley, surrounded by gentle hills. The sun is warm on your face. Birds drift lazily through the sky, and a soft breeze carries the scent of wildflowers and damp earth. Beneath this calm, imagine molten rivers, silent and unseen, creeping through the rock like a slow heartbeat. The world seems serene, almost impossibly still. Yet, somewhere deep below, tension is gathering, as if the earth itself is inhaling, readying for a breath that could last weeks, months, or even years. Beneath our feet, the supervolcano waits, a hidden giant beneath the Yellowstone Plateau. Imperceptible at first glance, yet its potential is staggering. For centuries, pressure has been building, magma pooling like molten honey in a chamber miles deep. Each tremor, each shifting stone, is a note in a symphony too slow for humans to perceive fully. And then, the day arrives, almost imperceptibly, as the ground begins to pulse and the quiet tension rises to a roar. When a supervolcanic eruption occurs, the results are both spectacular and terrifying. Imagine walls of ash shooting miles into the sky, turning day into an eerie twilight. Volcanic gases, rich in sulfur, spread like invisible shrouds, darkening skies across continents. Temperatures fluctuate, rains turn acidic, and for weeks, the sun struggles to pierce the dense, heavy clouds. Did you know that a single eruption can release more energy than 1 billion Hiroshima bombs? Enough to melt landscapes and reshape continents. Life nearby is forced to adapt or vanish. Animals scatter, plants wither, and yet deep oceans and isolated caves offer silent refuges for the persistent few. What is incredible about supervolcanoes is how much they remind us of the delicate balance we often take for granted. They are both terrifying and awe-inspiring, a cosmic-scale demonstration of power, patience, and unpredictability. The eruption is not malevolent, nor is it random chaos. It is the natural rhythm of our planet, a slow breathing of fire and stone, shaping evolution and landscapes in ways almost imperceptible to the eye. Imagine being a tiny mammal or an ancient bird in the forests above Yellowstone, sensing only vibrations and subtle changes, unaware that history itself is turning beneath your paws or claws. Consider for a moment the scale of such an event. The ash can blanket thousands of square miles, drifting across oceans and mountains, turning fertile lands into barren plains. Crops fail, rivers choke with sediment, and yet life endures, sometimes in forms so different they seem alien to their ancestors. Did you know that after previous supervolcanic eruptions, the Earth cooled significantly for years? Yet eventually the climate stabilized, ecosystems rebounded, and entirely new species emerged to claim their place in the world. There is a strange poetry in that resilience, a reminder that even when the Earth seems to shake violently, life itself is patient, waiting for the sun to return. As you imagine the eruption unfolding, feel the suspense slowly dissolve into wonder. The power beneath our feet is humbling, yet it is also comforting in its constancy. The volcano has waited patiently, as the Earth has always done, for its moment, and the life above it, fragile and fleeting, has always found a way to continue. Perhaps this is a lesson not just in geology, but in our own lives, that even in moments of sudden change, even when the ground trembles and the skies darken, persistence and adaptability can carry us through. So now, as your mind pictures the vast eruption, the swirling ash clouds, the trembling earth, let yourself drift. Let the suspense melt into calm. Let the knowledge of life's resilience wrap around you like a warm blanket. The volcano, though powerful and overwhelming, is part of a story much larger than any single creature. a story that continues even now, quietly, beneath our feet. And as we linger in this reflection, suspended between awe and serenity, let's gently prepare to move toward the next chapter. Another cosmic force awaits, one that is silent, invisible, yet capable of altering life on a scale that is almost unimaginable. Let your mind float, safe and calm, as we drift toward the next story of near-apocalypse. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the universe itself sent a message in the form of invisible fire? A force so intense that it could traverse millions of light years, passing through space silently, yet holding the power to alter life on Earth. Could a flash of energy, unseen and undetectable to the human eye, carry the potential to change history, to reshape the future, without ever announcing itself with a roar? Picture yourself lying on a quiet night, the sky above a vast tapestry of stars, each twinkle a sun, each sun a story, each story a possibility. Some are close, some unimaginably far, yet all part of a cosmic web that stretches beyond comprehension. Among these countless stars, imagine a massive star reaching the end of its life, collapsing inward in a violent ballet, compressing and twisting until the energy escapes in two narrow, invisible beams, a gamma ray burst aimed unknowingly across the cosmos. Gamma ray bursts are the universe's hidden whispers, brief yet incredibly powerful, lasting mere seconds to minutes. They release more energy than our sun will emit in its entire lifetime. If Earth were in the path of such a burst, the consequences could be profound. Stratospheric ozone could be stripped away. Solar radiation could reach the surface with devastating effects. And life on the planet could face a silent, invisible threat. Did you know that some scientists speculate that a gamma ray burst may have caused one of Earth's mysterious mass extinctions hundreds of millions of years ago, wiping out species not with fire or earthquakes, but with invisible light that changed the very chemistry of the atmosphere? Imagine, just for a moment, standing on a familiar hill, looking up at the night sky, unaware that a gamma ray burst, traveling silently for millions of years, is threading its way toward our world. There is no sound, no tremor, no warning, only the quiet night, stars twinkling as if nothing is happening, yet in the hidden dance of atoms, molecules, and light, a subtle shift begins, like the first tremor of a storm that is not yet visible. The air charged with anticipation. The science behind gamma ray bursts is astonishing. Stars many times the mass of our sun collapse, forming a black hole, and the energy they unleash is focused into twin beams, narrow and precise, stretching across galaxies. Did you know that the energy in these beams can be so concentrated that if aimed at a planet, it could literally change the climate in minutes? Yet they are so rare and directional that the odds of Earth being hit are minuscule, almost like winning a cosmic lottery. And yet, the possibility lingers, a reminder that the universe is immense, mysterious, and always in motion. What fascinates scientists and dreamers alike is the balance of fragility and resilience. Life on Earth has persisted through countless cosmic events, invisible storms of radiation, asteroid impacts, and shifting climates, each time adapting, surviving, and evolving in ways that are almost miraculous. In a sense, we are walking on the edge of probabilities. our existence a delicate thread in a tapestry woven from chance, energy, and time. Imagine the courage of life itself, continuing quietly, persistently, under the silent gaze of the stars. As you picture the Gamma burst, let your mind drift with the story. Let the suspense rise and fall like a gentle tide. Feel the awe of the universe's hidden power, yet also the calm of knowing that life has endured before and will endure again. There is a poetry in this cosmic balance, a rhythm that mirrors the rise and fall of our own thoughts, a quiet reassurance that even the most powerful forces are part of a larger, coherent story. And now, as your imagination stretches across galaxies, let's linger for a moment in reflection. Imagine the invisible threads connecting stars, planets, and life, how each event, though distant, echoes through time and space, how every flash of energy, every collapse of a star, is part of the same vast narrative that carries you, resting safely, listening now, toward the next chapter of cosmic near-disasters. Soon we will drift toward another invisible force, not in the stars, but beneath our oceans, a mysterious, almost imperceptible event, capable of shifting climates and oceans in ways that are both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Let your mind float gently, secure and calm, as we prepare to witness the story of the next near-apocalyptic wonder. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the world itself seemed to slow, as though time and warmth were being pulled away? Imagine a planet where snow and ice creep quietly, inexorably, across continents, where even the sun seems hesitant, casting a pale, fragile light. Could life endure when the Earth's heartbeat grows slow and cold, when the familiar comforts of warmth, vegetation, and abundance vanish under a vast, frozen expanse? Picture yourself standing on a hill, early morning mist curling around your feet. The air is crisp, almost painfully clear. Each breath feels like it belongs to the entire world, as if you are inhaling the planet itself. In the distance, forests begin to thin, replaced by fields of frost and jagged ice. A river you once knew as gentle and flowing is stiffened, its surface shimmering like glass in the pale sunlight. The earth feels vast, empty, and at once fragile, as though it holds its breath in anticipation of something immense. Ice ages are not sudden, but their approach is inevitable. Like a slow, deliberate tide, across thousands of years, temperatures drop, glaciers grow and stretch, sprawling silently across mountains and valleys. The climate shifts unpredictably, yet with relentless persistence, altering rainfall, reshaping rivers, and forcing creatures to adapt or perish. Imagine animals migrating for survival, tiny mammals hiding under layers of snow, birds changing their patterns, entire ecosystems bending to a frozen rhythm. Did you know that some ice ages may have covered nearly all of Earth's surface with ice? A period scientists call Snowball Earth, where even equatorial regions were cloaked in frost. The most chilling part is the subtlety, the quiet persistence of the cold. Unlike an asteroid or volcano, ice creeps without a bang, without a flash, its power hidden until it is nearly complete. Ice sheets grow miles thick, crushing forests, reshaping mountains, and redirecting rivers. Life must respond in silence, often unseen. in small acts of resilience that accumulate over centuries. Microbes survive in pockets of heat beneath glaciers. Tiny plants cling to cracks in the frozen soil, and animals adapt in ways almost imperceptible to human observation. Imagine a single valley, blanketed in snow, seemingly lifeless, yet beneath the ice, life persists, hidden from view, waiting, enduring, preparing for a thaw that may not come for hundreds of generations. There is something profoundly comforting about this, a reminder that even when the world seems overwhelming, silent, and inhospitable, persistence finds a way. Survival often relies on patience, adaptability, and quiet determination. Did you know that during some ice ages, humans themselves were forced to adapt, creating fire, clothing, and shelter, developing social bonds and ingenuity to survive against almost unimaginable odds? The Ice Age teaches us about scale, about patience, about the hidden forces that shape existence. As you imagine the glaciers creeping slowly over mountains and valleys, feel a strange sense of awe, for this is not destruction in the dramatic sense, but transformation, slow, deliberate, and inevitable. The world itself is breathing, expanding and contracting like the lungs of a giant, ancient organism, and life, fragile yet persistent, bends without breaking, adapting to the rhythm of the planet itself. Now, as you drift deeper into this vision, notice the silence, the wind brushing over ice fields, the distant cracking of glaciers, the soft, steady heartbeat of the earth beneath the frozen surface. Let your thoughts become as slow and deliberate as the glaciers themselves. Each breath a gentle rhythm, each exhale releasing tension. Your mind, like the world before the thaw, holds both stillness and possibility. And as we linger in this reflection, suspended between awe and calm, let's prepare to move toward the next chapter. Another cosmic or earthly force awaits, one that is invisible, swift, and yet capable of reshaping life in moments rather than millennia. Let your imagination float safely, comfortably, as we drift toward the story of the next near-apocalyptic event, where a sudden and extraordinary encounter could have rewritten the rules of life itself. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the sun, our constant companion, suddenly became a force of chaos? A star whose warmth we rely on daily, whose light seems eternal, turning its calm presence into a storm of energy so intense that it could disrupt the very systems we take for granted. Could a silent surge from the heart of our own star ripple across space and remind us how small, fragile, and interconnected our lives truly are? Picture yourself standing beneath a clear evening sky, the sun long set behind distant hills. Yet, imagine that above, the star at the center of our solar system is stirring, its magnetic fields twisting and snapping with invisible tension. Charged particles, invisible to the eye, gather strength and momentum like a river swelling before it breaks its banks. The air feels ordinary, yet unseen forces are moving, shaping, preparing to reach Earth in a surge that could feel like a whisper or a roar. Solar superstorms, also called coronal mass ejections, are eruptions of plasma and magnetic energy from the sun. These eruptions send billions of tons of charged particles racing through space at millions of miles per hour. When they collide with Earth's magnetic field, the results can be breathtaking. and dangerous. Imagine auroras igniting the skies in spectacular, otherworldly colors, shimmering across the globe from pole to pole. Did you know that one of the largest solar storms in recorded history, the Carrington event of 1859, caused telegraph systems to spark and catch fire, even shocking operators, long before our modern electronics existed? But the truly suspenseful part is imagining what could happen today with our delicate technological infrastructure. The charged particles could overload power grids, disable satellites, disrupt communication networks, and even alter the climate slightly for a time. Our modern civilization, so dependent on invisible currents of electricity, could find itself in a sudden, silent blackout, with only the sky to remind us of the sun's hidden power. Imagine streets lit only by candlelight, phones unresponsive, airplanes grounded, and the sky ablaze with auroras dancing wildly across continents. What makes solar superstorms so fascinating is their unpredictability. They occur without warning, yet their patterns follow rhythms that scientists are only beginning to understand. The sun, in its calm brilliance, hides a restless, magnetic heart, capable of both life-giving warmth and sudden, invisible fury. Did you know that massive solar eruptions can travel 93 million miles in less than 2 days, crossing the entire distance between Earth and Sun faster than any human-made spacecraft, carrying energy that could reshape electronics, chemistry, and even weather? Imagine, for a moment, standing under a night sky transformed by a superstorm, aurora curtains rippling across the heavens, colors shifting in ways that feel almost alive, while below, humans, animals, and nature respond instinctively, unaware of the full scale of the invisible impact. Our technologies falter, our world pauses, and yet life persists, as it has through countless cosmic and terrestrial events before. The superstorm is both terrifying and mesmerizing, a reminder of the universe's scale, its hidden currents, and the delicate balance that allows life to flourish. As you envision the charged particles racing invisibly toward Earth, notice your own pulse slowing, syncing with the rhythm of the universe. There is suspense here, yes, but also awe and a strange sense of comfort. For these events remind us that life is resilient, that even when unseen forces stir, life finds a way, that human ingenuity, nature's persistence, and the quiet order of the cosmos coexist, balancing chaos and continuity. Let yourself linger in this vision. The auroras painting the skies, the world paused yet alive beneath, the sun's invisible energy brushing every leaf, every wave, every breath you take. Consider how small we are, yet how extraordinary our existence is, carried by a star whose calm warmth we trust, yet whose hidden power can, in moments, remind us of the vastness of the universe and the extraordinary resilience of life on Earth. And now, as your imagination floats gently among these cosmic currents, let's prepare to move toward the next chapter. Another near-apocalyptic moment awaits, one that is ancient, invisible, and capable of reshaping not just life, but the very atmosphere of our planet. Let your mind drift safely, comfortably, as we move toward the story of the next extraordinary event, where something hidden from sight threatened to leave its mark on Earth for centuries to come. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if a silent wanderer from the depths of space appeared without warning? A bright streak of ice and rock hurtling through the darkness, carrying with it the power to alter life as we know it. Could a single comet, born billions of miles away, find its path crossing with our fragile planet, almost unnoticed until its shadow touched the Earth? Picture yourself standing on a quiet hill under a night sky so vast it feels like it could swallow you. Stars twinkling like distant lanterns, the Milky Way stretching overhead in a gentle arc. Imagine a tiny glimmer brighter than the others, moving ever so slowly at first, then accelerating, a silent herald from the outer reaches of the solar system. You feel the enormity of the cosmos, the fragility of life beneath that boundless sky, and the tension of forces you cannot see but can sense in the marrow of your bones. Rogue comets are cosmic wanderers, icy bodies flung from the outer edges of the solar system, often taking thousands of years to complete a single orbit. Their paths are unpredictable, influenced by the gravity of planets, the subtle push of sunlight, and even distant stars passing nearby. Did you know that a comet's tail, millions of kilometers long, is not a solid object, but a delicate stream of gas and dust, pushed by solar, wind, and sunlight, a fragile beacon of cosmic energy and movement? Imagine the suspense as astronomers detect an unusual object moving faster and closer than expected. Calculations scrambling to determine whether Earth might be in its path. The comet's nucleus, small yet potent, could release energy equivalent to thousands of nuclear explosions if it struck. Yet it travels silently, unseen to the naked eye. A phantom on a collision course, each moment bringing it closer. Each observation, each calculation, a race against time. A reminder of how precise and delicate our existence is within the vast cosmos. Picture the comet's approach in slow motion, the sky igniting with its reflection as it passes through the outer atmosphere. Even without impact, its gravity might tug at the oceans, creating subtle waves, its presence felt through delicate shifts. Did you know that in the past, cometary impacts have altered Earth's climate, bringing periods of cooling or triggering chemical changes in the atmosphere, influencing evolution and survival in ways we are only beginning to understand? The comet is both a destroyer and a messenger, a reminder of the invisible forces shaping life across eons. Now imagine, for a moment, standing under the night sky as the comet arcs overhead, silent and magnificent, shimmering with icy brilliance. You feel a mixture of awe, suspense, and reverence. Life on Earth continues beneath you, oblivious yet intrinsically connected to this cosmic visitor. Every creature, every tree, every gust of wind is part of this story, a silent witness to forces far beyond human comprehension. The comet may pass without incident, or it may nudge destiny in small, unseen ways, leaving an indelible mark on the history of life. There is an extraordinary poetry in this scenario, a rhythm between fragility and resilience, between chance and inevitability. Life persists, adapts, and endures, even when invisible, unpredictable forces brush against existence. We, too, are part of this cosmic tapestry, small yet significant, fragile yet capable of responding, imagining and thriving each comet, asteroid, or star is a chapter in a story that includes us. A reminder that wonder and suspense exist naturally in the universe. As you picture the comet's journey, feel your mind floating with the narrative, letting tension rise and fall like the gentle pull of gravity itself. Imagine the suspense resolving slowly as the comet swings past Earth, leaving only its faint trail in the sky, a memory of potential, a whisper of possibility. Your heartbeat slows, syncing with the rhythm of the cosmos, and you recognize that life, fragile as it may seem, continues beautifully, patiently, and mysteriously. And now, as we linger in reflection, suspended between awe and calm, let's prepare to move toward the next chapter. Another near-apocalyptic moment awaits, one of fire and heat, sudden and intense, capable of altering ecosystems and the trajectory of evolution in moments. Let your mind drift gently, securely, as we approach the story of the next extraordinary event, where life faced an inferno unlike any before, yet found a way to endure. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if life's smallest creatures suddenly became its greatest challenge? Invisible, silent, and relentless, carrying the power to reshape societies, economies, and the very fabric of human life. Could a tiny organism, unseen to the naked eye, alter the course of history, forcing humanity to confront its fragility, its resilience, and the intricate balance between survival and collapse? Picture yourself walking through a bustling ancient city, the streets alive with merchants, children, and the aroma of fresh bread. Everything seems ordinary, predictable, and safe. Yet unseen within the crowd, microscopic agents of change drift silently, waiting, moving, invisible yet potent. The air feels warm, filled with laughter and conversation. Yet each breath carries the possibility of transformation, a reminder that the most profound forces are often hidden from sight. Microbial plagues are nature's quiet disruptors, bacteria, viruses, and other pathogens capable of spreading rapidly, exploiting connections, and altering life in unexpected ways. They do not roar or strike with fire, yet their effects can be staggering. Did you know that some plagues, like the Black Death in the 14th century, wiped out an estimated 1/3 of Europe's population, reshaping societies, economies, and even cultural norms? Entire cities were silenced, traditions altered, and human behavior transformed, all because of creatures far smaller than a grain of sand. Imagine the suspense as the plague spreads, moving from person to person, village to city, continent to continent, each day bringing subtle changes, slight fevers, whispered rumors, empty streets, and closed doors. The tension is invisible, yet palpable, a quiet heartbeat underlying daily life. Every encounter carries uncertainty, every breath a mixture of hope and danger, and humanity is forced to adapt, invent, and survive. Picture yourself observing a healer of the time, carefully tending to patients, unaware whether remedies will help or harm. Each decision carries weight, each action a thread in the delicate web of survival. Communities are forced to rethink hygiene, social interaction, and the very structure of daily life. Did you know that some populations survived plagues due to genetic variations, immunity, or sheer chance, illustrating the fragile balance between life and death? and the unpredictable resilience of living systems. As the plague moves through cities and countrysides, imagine the rhythm of human life changing. Slower yet more deliberate, the sounds of markets are muted. The laughter of children tempered by caution, yet the resilience of humanity persists. People form networks of care, share knowledge, and adapt rituals to protect life. There is a quiet courage in every action, a persistence that mirrors the adaptive forces of nature itself. What is extraordinary about microbial plagues is the interplay between the seen and unseen, the predictable and unpredictable, invisible agents shaping visible outcomes, altering entire civilizations without announcing their presence. Yet life persists, adapting and surviving, finding balance in unexpected ways. The story of plague is also a story of connection, of humanity's capacity for observation, reflection, and resilience. Imagine the lessons learned in silence, the subtle transformations that ripple across generations, shaping societies, economies, and cultural practices. As you imagine the spread of the plague and the response of humanity, feel your mind synchronize with the rhythm of adaptation, the ebb and flow of life and death, suspense and calm. There is awe in the microscopic power of life, yet comfort in the resilience that follows. Microbes remind us that even the smallest forces can have extraordinary consequences, and that persistence, observation, and adaptation are keys to survival. Now, as you reflect on these invisible threads of life, the quiet tension of uncertainty, and the resilience of communities, let your imagination drift, let your heart beat slow, sinking with the quiet persistence of life itself. The plague, terrifying yet instructive, teaches us about balance, adaptation, and the hidden forces that shape the world. As we prepare to move forward, another near-apocalyptic event awaits, one of ice fire and human ingenuity combined. Let your mind float comfortably and securely as we drift toward the story of the next extraordinary event, where nature and circumstance combine to test humanity in ways both visible and profound. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the very ground beneath your feet began to move imperceptibly, slowly, yet with unstoppable power? Imagine continents, vast and immovable in appearance, slowly drifting, colliding, and reshaping the face of the earth over millions of years. Could the land itself be both a silent witness and an active participant in the story of life, quietly influencing evolution, climate, and the destiny of every creature? Picture yourself standing on an ancient shore, waves lapping gently at your feet. The horizon stretches endlessly. Yet beneath the surface, unseen forces are at work. Mountains slowly rise, valleys subtly shift, and tectonic plates creep like giant, deliberate dancers. The air is warm, filled with the scent of earth and salt. Yet there is a tension in the subtle tremors, as if the planet itself is breathing, holding its immense power quietly, patiently, waiting for the right moment to reshape the world. The formation and breakup of supercontinents is one of Earth's most profound and slow-moving forces. Gigantic landmasses, such as Pangaea, once unified, now fragmented, and later will converge again, shifting oceans, climates, and ecosystems. Did you know that these slow movements influence ocean currents, atmospheric patterns, and even the evolution of species? guiding life on paths no single creature could predict. The continents are like living puzzles, constantly reconfiguring themselves, creating new environments, isolating populations, and testing the resilience of life. Imagine the suspense as two massive plates begin to collide. Mountain ranges slowly rising from the friction, rivers redirected, seas compressed, ecosystems disrupted, yet life persists. Adapting to each subtle change, forests shift, animal populations migrate, new niches emerge, and species evolve in response to the shifting land. Each movement, though imperceptible to a human lifetime, carries consequences felt for millions of years, a slow, almost invisible drama playing out across the planet. Consider, for a moment, the isolation caused by drifting landmass, how a population of creatures on one fragment may slowly evolve into something entirely different from their distant cousins. How species adapt to new climates, new predators, and new challenges. Did you know that many of the unique plants and animals we see today exist because of these ancient continental shifts? As islands and landmasses separated and reunited, creating isolated laboratories of evolution, life responds quietly, patiently, over spans of time almost impossible for us to comprehend. Picture yourself observing the land from above, soaring like an invisible bird, seeing mountains rise, forests retreat, and oceans expand, all movements deliberate, attention so subtle it can only be perceived through patience and reflection. The Earth's surface is alive, shaping and reshaping itself, and through this, life learns resilience, creativity, and adaptability. There is suspense in the unseen forces, in the gradual yet unstoppable motion. Yet there is also profound comfort in the knowledge that life endures, evolving with the shifts, finding a place in every changing landscape. Imagine how life persisted through these shifts. Small mammals scurrying beneath forests, reptiles adapting to new terrains, plants colonizing newly exposed soil. Each species a testament to resilience and subtle adaptation. Life never stops, even when the ground beneath seems uncertain, even when oceans swallow and mountains rise. The story of supercontinents is a story of patience, of the long game played by both land and life, a silent drama stretching across eons. As you reflect on these slow, immense movements, feel your mind syncing with the rhythm of geological time. There is suspense in the unpredictability, wonder in the scale, and calm in the patience of life itself. The continents remind us that transformation is inevitable. Yet life, as we prepare to move toward the next chapter, imagine another invisible, yet powerful, force waiting, capable of reshaping life in moments rather than millennia, a force that is both cosmic and immediate. Let your imagination float gently, comfortably, through the shifting lands, through the rise and fall of mountains and seas, as we prepare to drift toward the story of the next near-apocalyptic event, where energy, matter, and life collide in ways both terrifying and awe-inspiring, and where the lessons of patience, adaptation, and resilience continue. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the air around you, invisible and silent, carried the power to transform the climate, to warm the world in ways both subtle and devastating? Could a gas colorless, odorless, yet immensely potent, alter the course of life, changing oceans, weather, and survival without any warning, without any dramatic roar, yet leaving its mark on every living creature. Picture yourself standing on a quiet shoreline, the waves lapping softly at your feet. The sky above is clear, yet in the oceans and soils beneath the land, invisible forces are gathering methane, trapped for millennia beneath permafrost and in oceanic sediments, quietly accumulating, waiting for a shift, a trigger, an invisible key to release its energy into the atmosphere. The world feels calm, almost ordinary, yet there is tension, a quiet suspense that hums beneath the surface, as if the planet itself is holding its breath. Methane is a powerful greenhouse gas, far more potent than carbon dioxide over short timescales. When released in massive amounts, it can rapidly accelerate warming, melting ice, raising sea levels, and altering weather patterns. Imagine the oceans heating, currents shifting, storms intensifying, ecosystems struggling to adapt. Did you know that past methane catastrophes, sometimes called Clathrate gun events, are thought to have triggered abrupt warming events in Earth's history, causing extinctions and dramatic shifts in climate? Yet these changes were invisible at first, creeping silently across the globe, a gradual yet unstoppable force. Imagine the suspense as permafrost begins to thaw, releasing methane in pulses, oceans destabilizing beneath the surface, bubbles of gas rising to meet the air, each release contributing to a chain reaction. The warming accelerates. The climate shifts faster than life can adapt. Species struggle. Forests and reefs strain under the sudden heat. Yet, in this crisis, life also finds a way, adapting, migrating, and evolving in response to the invisible threat. The methane catastrophe is both terrifying and awe-inspiring, a lesson in the delicate balance between energy, life, and the planet itself. Picture the world in the grip of this invisible force. Ocean temperatures rising, sea levels swelling, weather patterns shifting in unexpected ways, yet beneath the drama, there is resilience. Life continues, persistent and adaptive, finding pockets of survival in cooler areas, in shaded forests, in deep oceans. A small mammal burrows, a fish adapts its migration, a plant shifts its growth, all responding to the unseen energy coursing through the environment. Did you know that methane release can trigger feedback loops, where warming causes more methane release, further accelerating climate change, illustrating the delicate, precarious nature of Earth's systems? As you imagine the tension rising, feel your own breath sinking with the rhythm of the world. Slowly, steadily, inhale, exhale. Your mind can follow the invisible forces as they move. Unseen but undeniable. There is suspense, yes, but also wonder, as you consider how life has persisted through such events before. How adaptation and resilience carry the story forward. Methane reminds us that even the most subtle, hidden forces can wield immense power. That change can be silent yet transformative. Consider the poetry of this scenario. The quiet accumulation of energy, the sudden release, the subtle ripple effects across climate and ecosystems. All of it shaping the story of life, slowly yet profoundly. There is suspense in the unfolding events, yet also calm in the knowledge that life endures, adapts, and thrives. finding balance in the face of invisible, extraordinary forces. The methane catastrophe is a lesson in patience, resilience, and the hidden dynamics that govern our planet. As you linger in this reflection, let your imagination float above thawing permafrost and warming oceans. Picture the delicate dance of energy, life, and climate, the suspense slowly melting into awe and calm. Let the invisible force of methane remind you of the silent, potent power of nature and the enduring persistence of life. And now, as we prepare to drift toward the next chapter, another near-apocalyptic event awaits, where sudden cosmic collisions and unseen forces once again tested the resilience of life. Allow your mind to float gently, securely, as we move toward the story of the next extraordinary event, where Earth faced both fury and chance, and life's persistence shone in the face of immense, invisible challenges. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the invisible compass that guides our planet suddenly shifted? A force so fundamental that it silently affects every living creature, every migrating bird, every technological device, yet moves without sound, without warning, like a whisper carried through the core of the earth. Could the magnetic field, our silent guardian against cosmic radiation, waver, reverse, and leave life exposed to forces we cannot see but must endure? Picture yourself standing on a quiet plain, the stars overhead like scattered lanterns. The wind brushes gently against your skin, the night calm and ordinary, yet beneath your feet, the molten iron of Earth's outer core churns and swirls, generating the magnetic field that protects the planet. This invisible shield, taken for granted, begins to weaken, wobble, and shift, its slow dance unnoticed by humans. Yet the tension builds, a quiet suspense, as the planet's polarity slowly prepares to flip. Magnetic pole reversals are not sudden, but their effects ripple outward in subtle yet profound ways. Over thousands of years, the north and south magnetic poles drift, weaken, and eventually swap positions, altering the way charged particles from the sun interact with our atmosphere. Did you know that during reversals, the magnetic field may drop to just a fraction of its usual strength, allowing cosmic rays to penetrate deeper into the atmosphere, affecting radiation levels and potentially influencing climate and biological systems? Even animals that rely on the magnetic field for navigation, from sea turtles to migratory birds, are forced to adapt to the invisible shifts. Imagine the suspense as compasses spin, navigation becomes uncertain, and the very notion of north grows fluid. Ships at sea and explorers relying on magnetic guidance face invisible challenges. Yet life on Earth, remarkably resilient, continues. Animals adjust instinctively. Some falter, some find new paths, and humans, through observation and ingenuity, learn to adapt. The pole reversal is silent, unseen, yet its effects are everywhere, like a hidden conductor orchestrating subtle changes across the planet. Picture the Earth in transition, the magnetic shield weakening, the auroras dancing closer to the equator, cosmic radiation brushing the upper atmosphere more intensely, a world subtly exposed to energies from space, yet life persists, demonstrating both fragility and resilience. Every plant, animal, and human responds, some instinctively, some through adaptation and learning, there is suspense in the invisible shifts, yet also awe at the persistence of life under conditions we can barely perceive. Did you know that the last full magnetic reversal occurred approximately 780,000 years ago, during a period when early humans and large mammals thrived despite the shift, illustrating that life, even at its most delicate, possesses remarkable capacity to endure? The magnetic field, while crucial, is not an all-or-nothing force. Its slow wobble reminds us of balance, patience, and the deep interplay between invisible forces and visible life. Imagine, for a moment, observing migratory birds struggling slightly as their instinctual paths waver. Imagine sea turtles sensing confusion in the ocean currents. Imagine satellites adjusting as geomagnetic forces subtly shift. Yet beneath all this, life continues, resilient and patient, adapting in ways both instinctive and extraordinary. The suspense of a magnetic pole reversal lies not in destruction, but in uncertainty, in the invisible challenges it presents, in the quiet reminder of forces far greater than ourselves. As you reflect on the magnetic pole reversal, let your mind float with the Earth itself, the molten core swirling, the magnetic field bending and stretching, each moment a gentle reminder that life and the planet are interconnected, each shift a subtle test of resilience, patience, and adaptation. There is calm in the knowledge that these changes unfold slowly, that life has endured countless reversals, and will continue to do so. Now, as we linger in this reflection, suspended between awe and calm, let's prepare to move toward the next chapter. Another extraordinary force awaits, one that combines both cosmic precision and earthly consequences, where events beyond our atmosphere ripple inward, reminding us of the fragile, interdependent balance of life and planet. Let your mind drift gently, securely, as we approach the story of the next near-apocalyptic event. Imagine floating above the shifting magnetic field, watching invisible lines of force bend and weave, feeling both suspense and comfort in the knowledge that life persists, adapting to invisible changes, and preparing to witness yet another remarkable, near-apocalyptic chapter in the story of Earth. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the oceans, vast and seemingly infinite, suddenly turned against life, silent and invisible, depriving the waters of oxygen, the very element that every fish, every plankton, every creature depends upon? Could entire marine ecosystems, which cradle the balance of life on Earth, collapse quietly, without warning, leaving only silence and an eerie stillness? Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast, calm sea, the waves gently brushing your feet. The water glimmers under a soft sun, the horizon stretching endlessly, serene and reassuring. Yet beneath that placid surface, a hidden catastrophe begins to unfold, oxygen levels in the water dropping imperceptibly, leaving creatures suffocating in silence. Each breath in this world depends upon the delicate chemistry of the ocean, and as the balance tips, the suspense grows, unseen but immense. Ocean anoxia occurs when oxygen in the water becomes critically low, often due to a combination of warming, nutrient influx, and changes in circulation. The results are devastating, yet silent. Did you know that past oceanic anoxic events have been linked to mass extinctions, wiping out large portions of marine life, altering ecosystems, and even affecting the global climate. Entire coral reefs, fish populations, and microscopic plankton could vanish quietly, leaving vast stretches of ocean eerily still. Imagine the suspense as the first signs appear, subtle yet deadly, fish rising to the surface, gasping for oxygen, plankton populations dwindling, and entire marine food chains destabilizing. The ocean, once a cradle of life, becomes a stage of survival and silent struggle. Yet even in this crisis, resilience emerges. Microbes thrive in oxygen pockets, some species adapt, and new ecological niches slowly appear, illustrating the persistence of life under conditions we might assume are fatal. Picture the world from above, the oceans darkening, the chemical balance shifting invisibly, currents carrying both life and death across the seas. The suspension is profound, a quiet tension that touches every coastal region, every migrating species, and ultimately, life on land itself. Did you know that ocean anoxia can trigger global climate changes? Because oceans regulate temperature, carbon dioxide, and nutrients, meaning the ripple effects of this underwater event can extend far beyond the sea, reaching the atmosphere, land, and every living being. Imagine the suspense as ancient seas slowly lost their oxygen, turning shallow shelves and deep basins into silent deserts. Yet even here, life clings tenaciously, small pockets of survival offering hope for renewal. For every extinction, there is adaptation. For every collapse, there is eventual recovery. Life persists patiently, quietly, over millions of years, a testament to resilience in the face of invisible catastrophe. The story of anoxia is not just about loss, but about the hidden strength of life, the subtle balance between fragility and endurance. Now, picture yourself underwater, drifting through this silent, dimly lit world, observing tiny creatures, navigating pockets of oxygen. The suspense is tangible, yet there is a strange beauty in the adaptation, a reminder that even in extreme conditions, life finds a way. There is poetry in the quiet tension, in the invisible struggle, and in the patient persistence of ecosystems. Each shift, each collapse, each recovery teaches us about the delicate interdependence of life and the planet. Consider the lessons for our own lives. The oceans, vast and complex, remind us that even forces we cannot see or control can shape our existence. That resilience often comes from adaptation, persistence, and the patience to endure challenges over time. The suspense, the uncertainty, the invisible shifts, all mirror experiences we encounter in our personal worlds, offering both awe and comfort as you reflect on the great ocean anoxia. Allow your mind to float gently, like a diver suspended in a quiet, deep sea, observing the ebb and flow of life, sensing both tension and calm. The silent power of the oceans reminds us of the interconnection of life, the fragility of ecosystems, and the enduring strength of adaptation. And now, as we prepare to drift toward the next chapter, another near-apocalyptic event awaits, one that combines cosmic scale, explosive energy, and the delicate balance of life. Let your imagination float comfortably through the depths of the ocean and across the surface of the earth, preparing to witness the story of the next extraordinary event, where forces beyond sight and understanding once again tested the resilience of life, and where the suspense, wonder, and calm of survival continue to unfold. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if a silent traveler from the depths of space hurtled toward our fragile planet, unseen, unnoticed, yet carrying the potential to rewrite the story of life in a single, cataclysmic moment? Could a rock, tens of kilometers wide, traversing millions of miles of empty space, bring civilizations to their knees, alter climates, and remind us of our impermanence? Picture yourself standing on a quiet hill at dusk, the sky painted in gentle shades of orange and violet, stars beginning to twinkle faintly, and the air filled with the ordinary sounds of evening, birds calling, a distant dog barking, a gentle breeze rustling leaves. Yet far above, in the vastness of space, an asteroid moves silently, invisibly, carrying energy unimaginable, its trajectory precise, yet the outcome uncertain, the suspense growing with every passing second. Asteroids are remnants of the solar system's formation, ancient rocks traveling the void, sometimes crossing paths with Earth. Did you know that a single asteroid impact could release more energy than thousands of nuclear bombs, creating shockwaves, firestorms, and tsunamis, affecting life across continents? Yet the threat is invisible until it becomes almost immediate, a reminder that the universe operates on scales and forces beyond ordinary perception. Imagine the suspense as astronomers detect a faint dot moving against the backdrop of stars. Calculations racing, predictions uncertain, the world unaware of the silent visitor approaching. Each rotation of Earth brings it closer, and each day carries the possibility of sudden catastrophe. The tension is invisible, yet immense, a cosmic countdown that only patience and observation can resolve. Picture the impact scenario, the asteroid striking with unimaginable force, the ground shaking, the sky igniting in a blaze of light, firestorms spreading, tsunamis racing across oceans, and the climate destabilizing. Yet even in this imagined destruction, there is a sense of awe, a reminder of the delicate balance of life, that each moment we live is both ordinary and extraordinary, the continuation of an improbable miracle. Consider the resilience of life, how some species might perish instantly, while others find refuge in burrows, caves, or deep oceans. How ecosystems adjust over decades, centuries, and millennia. Did you know that asteroid impacts have been linked to some of the most dramatic mass extinctions in Earth's history, including the event that wiped out the dinosaurs? Yet life endured, eventually flourishing in new forms and directions, illustrating the extraordinary persistence of life. Imagine floating above the Earth, witnessing the asteroid's approach, feeling the suspense rise like a silent drumbeat. The planet, small and fragile in the cosmic sea, waits, yet life continues, oblivious yet intimately connected to the forces above. The possibility of annihilation is both terrifying and humbling, a reminder that while humanity may feel permanent, the universe is vast, unpredictable, and sometimes indifferent. Picture the aftermath. Assuming the asteroid narrowly missed, the relief palpable, the skies clear once more. Yet subtle changes ripple through the environment. The memory of what might have been lingering invisibly. Life continues, adapting, thriving, and learning in small, almost imperceptible ways, each generation unaware of how close it came to a cosmic reset. Yet every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of life is a triumph of persistence against immense odds. The story of the asteroid is both suspenseful and meditative, a combination of cosmic scale and human reflection. Imagine the awe of witnessing forces far beyond our control, and the calm of recognizing life's capacity to endure. The asteroid reminds us of scale, chance, and resilience, and invites us to reflect on our own small yet significant place in the universe. Each passing moment, each silent night, each star overhead connects us to these vast, extraordinary events. As you drift in this contemplation, imagine yourself gently floating above Earth, safe, observing the invisible forces at play. The asteroid hurtling through space, the planet spinning beneath it, life continuing in quiet persistence. There is suspense, there is awe, and yet there is profound calm, for life endures. And so do we, quietly, resiliently, adapting to every challenge, known and unknown, now, as we prepare to move toward the next chapter. Another extraordinary near-apocalyptic event awaits, one of fire, ice, and unseen forces on scales both terrestrial and cosmic. Let your imagination float gently, securely, as we drift toward the story of the next extraordinary event, where Earth faced forces beyond comprehension, and life's resilience shone brightly against suspense and uncertainty. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the ground beneath your feet, seemingly solid and unchanging, suddenly became a source of unimaginable power, a force capable of altering climates, reshaping landscapes, and threatening the very survival of human civilization? Could a single eruption, invisible until it begins, change the world in ways both immediate and lasting, reminding us how fragile and interdependent life truly is? Picture yourself standing in a quiet valley, the morning mist curling around your feet, birds singing softly in the distance, a gentle breeze brushing your skin. Everything appears ordinary. Yet deep beneath the earth, molten rock stirs, accumulating pressure over thousands of years, silent, patient, immense, waiting for the moment when it will transform from calm potential to explosive reality. The tension is invisible but immense, a quiet suspense that builds gradually, imperceptibly, beneath the surface. Supervolcanoes are not ordinary volcanoes, but gargantuan forces, capable of releasing thousands of cubic kilometers of magma, ash, and gases. Did you know that the Yellowstone supervolcano alone has erupted 3 times in the past 2.1 million years? Each eruption dramatically altering climate, ecosystems, and landscapes across continents. The scale is almost unimaginable, each eruption reshaping the world in both subtle and catastrophic ways. Imagine the suspense as pressure builds deep within the earth, magma accumulating, gases trapped, and the rock above swelling slowly, imperceptibly. Yet life continues above, unaware, ordinary in its rhythm. Children playing, rivers flowing, forests swaying, while the earth itself prepares for a dramatic upheaval. The contrast between ordinary life and invisible forces adds a haunting tension, a reminder that even the most stable-seeming environments conceal immense power. Picture the moment of eruption, the ground trembling, the sky igniting with fire. Ash clouds rising tens of kilometers, sunlight dimmed, and temperatures shifting across the globe. Lava flows reshaping landscapes, forests ablaze, rivers diverted, cities, ecosystems, and climates all impacted in cascading, far-reaching ways. Yet, even in this chaos, there is an awe-inspiring order, a demonstration of the immense energy and processes that drive our planet. Did you know that supervolcanic eruptions can trigger volcanic winters, lowering global temperatures for years, disrupting agriculture, and affecting the survival of countless species, including humans? The world may experience darkness, frost, and famine, yet pockets of life persist. Shelters and ecosystems providing refuge, adaptation unfolding quietly beneath the drama. Life, persistent and resilient, finds a way through fire, ash, and sudden change. Imagine, for a moment, standing at a safe distance, observing the unfolding event. The horizon filled with ash and smoke, the air tinged with anticipation and awe. Every breath, every heartbeat, a reflection of life's resilience. Each organism adapting in real time, whether by instinct, migration, or patience. The suspense is immense, yet there is also profound beauty in witnessing forces that shaped Earth for millions of years. Forces that remind us of scale, chance, and endurance. Picture how ecosystems respond, some devastated, some thriving in new niches. The cycles of destruction and renewal play out over years, decades, and centuries. Each eruption a punctuation in the ongoing story of life, teaching adaptation, resilience, and the patient rhythm of nature. The supervolcano is both terrifying and mesmerizing, a demonstration of energy, time, and the intricate connections that sustain life. As you imagine the ash settling and the earth slowly recovering, feel your mind syncing with the rhythm of natural adaptation. The quiet persistence of life, the suspense fades into reflection, awe, and calm. A reminder that life endures, quietly adjusting to forces beyond comprehension. Each eruption, each catastrophe, each near-apocalyptic event in Earth's history is a testament to survival, persistence, and the intricate balance of our planet. Now, as we prepare to drift toward the next chapter, another extraordinary near-apocalyptic event awaits, one that combines invisible chemical forces with biological consequences, where life itself faces the quiet suspense of invisible agents capable of reshaping ecosystems. Let your imagination float gently, securely, as we move toward the story of the next extraordinary event. Picture yourself suspended between the lingering power of fire and ash, and the calm persistence of life, feeling both suspense and comfort, as Earth continues its long, patient rhythm, preparing to reveal the next chapter in the story of resilience, adaptation, and the remarkable persistence of life across time. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if a star, our constant companion, suddenly unleashed a burst of energy so immense that it could overwhelm everything we rely on? Could the sun, so familiar and life-giving, become a source of invisible danger, sending waves of charged particles racing toward Earth, threatening to scramble technologies, disrupt communication, and remind us of the fragility of civilization? Picture yourself standing outside on a quiet evening, The sky painted in fading orange and violet, the breeze brushing softly across your skin, the distant hum of daily life all around you. Everything appears ordinary.com, yet far above. The sun churns with invisible intensity, magnetic fields twisting, flares igniting, and energy building in ways imperceptible to human senses. The suspense is silent, yet immense, a quiet countdown from a star millions of miles away. Solar flares are sudden bursts of electromagnetic radiation from the sun's surface, often associated with coronal mass ejections. These eruptions send charged particles and radiation hurtling through space at incredible speeds. Did you know that even a moderate flare can disrupt satellites, power grids, and communication systems? While the largest flares, rare but possible, could plunge modern civilization into a technological blackout lasting days, weeks, or even months. The sun's energy, though constant and familiar, carries potential for sudden chaos. Imagine the suspense as scientists detect unusual activity on the sun's surface. Sunspots swirling, magnetic fields snapping and reconnecting, flare energy building, invisible yet immense, like a coiled spring ready to release its force. Earth remains unaware, daily life continuing obliviously, traffic moving, conversations flowing, planes gliding above, while the potential for disruption grows quietly above. A single eruption could change the course of millions of lives in seconds. Picture the moment of impact, invisible waves of energy reaching Earth, interacting with magnetic fields and electronics, power grids overloaded, satellites temporarily disabled, GPS systems faltering, planes rerouted, and communication disrupted. The planet does not tremble. There is no earthquake. Yet the effects are immediate and far-reaching. The suspense is unlike anything visible, a silent, electric tension spreading invisibly across continents. Did you know that during the Carrington event of 1859, telegraph systems across the globe sparked and malfunctioned, some even catching fire long before our modern dependence on electronics? Imagine the potential if such an event struck today, with our internet, satellites, electrical grids, and modern infrastructure all vulnerable. Yet even in this imagined chaos, there is wonder, a reminder of the extraordinary power of our star and the delicate balance that allows life to thrive under its light. Picture yourself observing auroras igniting the night sky, brilliant curtains of light dancing across latitudes unusually far south, a stunning but ominous reflection of the solar flare's invisible energy. Life continues below, humans adapting, ecosystems persisting, yet the tension is palpable. Suspense and awe intertwined as the familiar sun asserts its immense and unpredictable influence over life on Earth. Imagine the resilience of humanity and life, how quickly engineers, scientists, and communities respond, restoring order, protecting vital systems, adapting to unforeseen circumstances. Life's persistence once again tested against an invisible, cosmic force, just as organisms in nature adapt to change. Humans to adjust, innovate, and endure, demonstrating both fragility and extraordinary resilience. As you visualize the sun's flare cascading past Earth, feel your own pulse slowing, syncing with the rhythm of the cosmos. The suspense dissolves into awe, then into calm. As the planet continues its quiet orbit, civilizations recover and life persists. The solar flare is a reminder of scale, chance, and resilience, of forces both invisible and immense, and of life's ability to endure and adapt against extraordinary odds. Now, as we prepare to move toward the next chapter, another near-apocalyptic event awaits, one both terrestrial and cosmic, combining chemical, biological, and geological forces in ways both subtle and dramatic. Let your imagination float gently, securely, as we drift toward the story of the next extraordinary event, where the persistence of life is tested and the suspense of unseen forces continues to unfold. Picture yourself floating above Earth, safe, observing the invisible energy surging from the sun, feeling suspense, and calm simultaneously, preparing to witness yet another remarkable near-apocalyptic chapter in the story of Earth, where life, technology, and cosmic forces intersect in a dance of tension and resilience. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the world you knew suddenly turned cold and unrecognizable, a planet reshaped by ice, snow, and relentless winds, where every breath is crisp with frost and every step across the frozen ground carries the weight of survival? Could massive creatures, towering and majestic, once rulers of their ecosystems, be brought to the brink of extinction by forces entirely beyond their control? Picture yourself standing at the edge of a frozen plain, the wind biting gently at your skin, snowflakes drifting silently from a pale gray sky, the horizon a vast expanse of white, stretching farther than the eye can see. Everything seems quiet, calm. Yet beneath this frozen serenity lies tension, suspense, as the climate tightens its grip on the planet, challenging every living being to adapt or perish. Ice ages are periods of long-term cooling when glaciers advance and retreat, reshaping landscapes, diverting rivers, and altering ecosystems. Did you know that during the last glacial maximum, about 21,000 years ago, ice sheets covered nearly one-third of Earth's land surface, drastically lowering sea levels and creating land bridges that changed migration and evolution? The scale is almost unimaginable, and yet life continued, adapting in ways both subtle and extraordinary. Imagine the suspense as temperatures drop gradually yet relentlessly. Forests retreat, deserts expand, rivers freeze or dry, and the habitat of countless species shrinks. Each day, survival becomes a delicate balance. Each breath taken in the freezing air is a reminder of fragility. Each movement across the icy terrain a small act of endurance. The giants of the Pleistocene, saber-toothed cats, giant sloths struggle to find food, shelter, and mates, their majesty shadowed by the harsh hand of climate. Picture the glaciers creeping imperceptibly across continents, mountains shrinking under the weight of ice, valleys filling with snow, and coastlines retreating beneath the frozen ocean. Yet even amidst this frozen desolation, life adapts. Small mammals burrow, birds migrate, and plants survive under snow and ice. Did you know that some species developed insulating fur, fat layers, or behavioral adaptations to survive the harshest winters, demonstrating the persistent creativity of life under extreme conditions? Imagine the suspense as food becomes scarce, the ice relentless, and predators and prey alike navigating a world of frozen monotony. Every day is a test of resilience, every season a cycle of struggle and adaptation. The landscape, though silent and beautiful, carries an omnipresent tension, as if the earth itself is holding its breath, waiting to see which creatures will endure, which will vanish, and which will emerge transformed. Picture a herd of mammoths, their breath steaming in the frigid air, tusks gleaming under a pale sun, slowly moving across the frozen tundra in search of sparse vegetation. Survival is a delicate game, each step, each foraging effort, a measure of endurance. Yet, even in this frozen world, beauty exists, frost patterns glinting on frozen lakes, snowflakes settling on fur, the silence of the ice creating a meditative calm. Consider the vast interplay of forces: temperature, glaciers, ocean currents, vegetation shifts, predator-prey dynamics, and human influence, all converging to shape ecosystems under extreme stress. Did you know that early humans lived during these ice ages, hunting megafauna, adapting clothing, building shelters, and developing tools, demonstrating ingenuity and resilience alongside the animals struggling to survive the frozen wilderness? The story of the Ice Age is one of suspense, endurance, and the remarkable ability of life to adapt to extreme, relentless conditions. Picture the slow retreat of the glaciers, the thawing of rivers, the rebirth of forests and grasslands, life emerging cautiously, adapting to the changed landscapes. Some giants survive, some vanish, and some evolve in new directions. Each survival, each extinction, a reflection of nature's immense patience and quiet suspense. The Ice Age teaches us that even under overwhelming pressure, life persists, adapts, and transforms, revealing both fragility and extraordinary resilience. As you drift through this frozen world, imagine yourself suspended above the icy plains, observing the silent tension of survival, feeling awe at the scale of the glaciers and suspense at the fragile persistence of life. Yet beneath the tension, there is calm, a meditation on adaptation, endurance, and the quiet beauty of persistence under extreme conditions. Now, as we prepare to move toward the next chapter, another extraordinary near-apocalyptic event awaits, one of heat, fire, and sudden transformation, where life is challenged not by cold but by the extreme intensity of fire and the relentless advance of environmental change. Let your imagination float gently, securely, as we drift toward the story of the next extraordinary event. Picture yourself in the calm after the storm of ice, preparing to witness the next chapter in Earth's story, where suspense, wonder, and resilience continue to unfold, and where life's persistence is tested once again under extraordinary circumstances. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the very air you breathe suddenly became both ally and adversary, a substance invisible, essential for life, yet in excess, capable of reshaping climates, ecosystems, and the delicate balance of survival? Could carbon dioxide, quietly accumulating over millennia, challenge life on a scale both global and profound, altering oceans, weather patterns, and the very chemical composition of the world we rely on? Picture yourself standing in a quiet meadow, the sun warm against your skin, the air filled with the gentle hum of life. Birds singing, insects buzzing, leaves rustling softly in the breeze. Everything seems ordinary, yet unseen. CO2 begins to accumulate in the atmosphere, invisible, silent, potent, a force that will eventually alter the climate, shift weather patterns, and transform ecosystems in ways imperceptible at first. The suspense is invisible, yet immense, a slow, creeping tension threading through every breath. Carbon dioxide is the lifeblood of plants and a regulator of climate, yet when concentrations rise dramatically, the effects are profound. Did you know that in Earth's deep past, rapid CO2 spikes triggered massive warming events, ocean acidification, and extinctions that reshaped the trajectory of life? Entire ecosystems collapsed or were forced to adapt quickly, and the balance of the planet shifted subtly but decisively. The invisible accumulation of CO2 carries both suspense and awe, a reminder of how delicate Earth's systems truly are. Imagine the suspense as temperatures slowly climb, glaciers retreat, seas warm, and rainfall patterns shift. Life struggles to adapt, some species thriving in new niches, others declining or disappearing. Each ecosystem becomes a stage of quiet tension, with subtle battles for survival unfolding in forests, oceans, and deserts. The invisible rise of CO2 is like a silent tide, gradually flooding the world with consequences unseen yet undeniable. Picture the oceans responding, absorbing carbon dioxide, becoming more acidic, the chemistry of seawater shifting, threatening coral reefs, plankton, and shell-forming creatures. The base of the marine food chain trembles, yet life persists. Some species adapting through migration, chemical tolerance, or behavioral shifts, a quiet testament to resilience. Did you know that rapid CO2 spikes in the past have been linked to the end Permian extinction, when over 90% of marine species vanished, illustrating both the destructive potential of carbon dioxide and the persistent adaptability of life? Imagine the suspense as terrestrial ecosystems respond. Forests shifting poleward, deserts expanding, rainfall patterns disrupting life cycles, each species navigating an invisible chemical tension. Life struggling quietly yet persistently, the drama unfolding silently across continents. A tree takes root in a new habitat, an insect population declines. A predator adapts its hunting strategies. The world adapts incrementally, yet the tension of imbalance is constant, unseen, and profound. Picture yourself observing this from above, floating over continents and oceans, witnessing subtle shifts in vegetation, changes in animal migration, and the delicate balancing act of survival. Each movement, each adaptation, a reflection of life's resilience. Each invisible molecule of CO2, a reminder of the slow but immense forces shaping the planet. Suspense lies not in dramatic catastrophes, but in the quiet, persistent pressure exerted invisibly over millennia, shaping ecosystems, species, and the trajectory of life itself. Consider the poetry of this scenario, the invisible agent shaping the visible world. Carbon dioxide, both life-giver and potential destroyer, a reminder that even forces we cannot see can hold immense power. The suspense is quiet, yet tangible, threading through oceans, forests, skies, and every breath, inviting reflection on adaptation, resilience, and patience. Life demonstrates a remarkable capacity to endure, responding to environmental pressures with ingenuity, persistence, and subtle creativity. As you imagine the Earth recovering from a CO2 spike, life adapting, ecosystems stabilizing, and climates gradually finding new balance. Feel your own mind syncing with the rhythm of slow, patient adaptation, the suspense dissolving into reflection and calm. Life persists, quietly, resiliently, finding equilibrium despite invisible challenges. Carbon dioxide, invisible yet profound, teaches patience and the interconnectedness of all life now. As we prepare to drift toward the next chapter, another near-apocalyptic event awaits, one of water, ice, and rising seas, where the persistence of life is challenged by slow yet relentless environmental forces. Let your imagination float gently, securely, as we move toward the story of the next extraordinary event. Picture yourself suspended above the world, observing the subtle tension of invisible gases, rising waters, and adapting life, feeling suspense, and calm simultaneously, preparing to witness yet another remarkable near-apocalyptic chapter in the story of Earth, where life's persistence and resilience continue to unfold under extraordinary circumstances. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the oceans themselves suddenly turned against the land? A single wave, unimaginably vast, racing across the horizon, carrying energy that could reshape coastlines, engulf civilizations, and remind us of the raw, unpredictable power of nature. Could water, calm and life-giving, one moment transform into a silent, unstoppable force capable of erasing everything in its path? Picture yourself standing on a quiet beach, the sun dipping low, the waves lapping gently at your feet, the air filled with the scent of salt and the distant cries of seabirds. Everything seems ordinary, peaceful, serene, yet deep below, tectonic plates shift, underwater landslides stir, or a distant asteroid strikes the ocean, generating energy that, unseen, begins its journey toward the shore. The suspense is invisible yet immense, like a coiled spring ready to release. Mega-tsunamis are rare but extraordinarily powerful, waves reaching hundreds of meters in height and traveling at jetliner speeds. Did you know that such waves can be triggered by underwater earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, or even massive landslides plunging into the ocean? Each scenario invisible at first, unfolding silently across the deep, carrying consequences that will eventually roar across coastlines. The scale is almost incomprehensible, the energy immense. Yet life on land and in the water continues. Oblivious to the approaching force, imagine the suspense as the wave forms, building in silence, the ocean's surface stretching, deep energy transferring through the water, traveling thousands of kilometers with stealthy inevitability. Coastal communities remain unaware, children playing, fishermen casting lines, wildlife following ordinary rhythms. While nature prepares to unleash its might, the tension is palpable, unseen, a quiet drumbeat of anticipation threading across continents. Picture the moment of impact, the wave towering over the shore, roaring with kinetic power, sweeping across towns, forests, and fields, reshaping landscapes in moments, leaving behind new rivers, inlets, and sediment. Humanity often unprepared, scrambling to survive. Yet, amidst the chaos, all remains a reminder of the immense scale of natural forces and of life's fragile persistence against them. Consider how ecosystems respond. Some species swept away, others thriving in the chaos, new niches emerging, coastal forests retreating, beaches reshaped, estuaries and wetlands reforming, demonstrating nature's extraordinary capacity for adaptation. Did you know that paleo-tsunami deposits around the world indicate that waves hundreds of meters tall once struck coastlines, leaving geological traces and altering the course of civilizations? The suspense of the unseen wave teaches patience, awareness, and humility in the face of forces beyond human control. Imagine yourself observing the aftermath. Standing safely on a high cliff, the ocean now calm again, eerily still, reflecting the morning light, the coastline forever changed, rivers redirected, beaches altered, and yet life enduring, slowly returning, fish recolonizing, plants taking root, animals adapting, humanity rebuilding and reflecting on vulnerability, the tension of the tsunami fading into awe, resilience, and calm. Picture the ripple effects, not just on land, but in the ocean itself. Currents disrupted, nutrient flows altered, temperatures shifting locally, marine life adapting to the new conditions. Subtle yet profound changes echoing through ecosystems, affecting life far beyond the initial impact zone. Life demonstrating adaptability, ingenuity, and resilience, even in the face of unimaginable energy. Consider the poetry of this scenario, the silent formation of the wave, the invisible energy traveling across oceans, the sudden eruption of kinetic power on land, all reflecting the delicate interplay between invisibility, suspense, and consequence. The mega-tsunami reminds us that life is both fragile and resilient, that forces beyond our control can reshape the world in moments, and yet persistence and adaptation prevail as you drift in this reflection. Imagine floating above the transformed coastlines, observing the new inlets, reshaped beaches, and emerging ecosystems, feeling suspense, awe, and calm simultaneously. The mega-tsunami is both terrifying and mesmerizing, a reminder of scale, energy, and life's capacity to endure. Now, as we prepare to move toward the next chapter, another extraordinary near-apocalyptic event awaits, one of fire and climate-altering ecosystems on both local and global scales, where the persistence of life is tested and the suspense of natural forces continues. Picture yourself safely suspended above the transformed oceans and coastlines, observing life adapting, ecosystems reforming, civilizations rebuilding, feeling suspense, awe, and profound calm, preparing to witness yet another remarkable near-apocalyptic chapter in the story of Earth, where life persists, adapts, and endures under extraordinary circumstances. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the very air we take for granted suddenly became scarce? If the invisible molecule that fuels every breath, every heartbeat, every movement on Earth began to vanish? Could oxygen, silent and omnipresent, quietly diminish, reshaping ecosystems silencing seas, and challenging life in ways both sudden and profound. Picture yourself standing on a calm shoreline at dawn, the water reflecting the first pale light of morning, waves lapping gently, birds calling softly as they take flight. Everything appears ordinary, peaceful, serene, yet beneath this calm, an invisible crisis begins. Oxygen levels in water and air slowly declining imperceptibly at first, creating suspense that is invisible but immense. Life depending on this gas, oblivious to the looming tension. Oxygen collapses are rare but catastrophic events, often triggered by changes in ocean chemistry, excessive organic decay, or disruptions in photosynthesis. Did you know that during past oceanic anoxic events, vast swaths of marine life suffocated, leaving oceans eerily silent, while atmospheric oxygen also declined, affecting terrestrial life? Entire ecosystems collapsed or adapted in response to these invisible shifts, illustrating both the fragility and resilience of life. Imagine the suspense as oxygen levels drop in the oceans, plankton struggling to survive, fish rising to the surface, gasping for air, predators finding prey scarce, ecosystems unraveling silently. Yet adaptation occurs in subtle ways, microbial life thriving in loxygen zones, some species finding niches in oxygen-rich pockets, and others slowly migrating to more hospitable waters. Life persisting quietly amidst invisible but profound stress. Picture the skies above, where birds and mammals sense subtle changes, respiratory stress altering behavior, migrations shifting, and populations adjusting in real time. The suspense is quiet, pervasive, threading through forests, plains, and oceans, invisible yet undeniable, as the planet responds to a shortage of one of the most basic building blocks of life. Did you know that even slight declines in oxygen levels can influence metabolism, growth, and reproductive success in countless species, cascading silently through ecosystems? Imagine floating above the earth, observing forests, rivers, and oceans, noticing subtle shifts as life adapts, survives, or perishes, the tension palpable yet silent, like a slow drumbeat beneath the ordinary rhythms of daily life. Species struggling in silence, populations declining where adaptation is insufficient, ecosystems silently rearranging themselves to the invisible pressure of oxygen scarcity. A reminder of how delicate the balance of life truly is. Picture the ocean depths where oxygen is already low, creatures eking out survival in twilight zones. Now imagine the expansion of these dead zones, spreading across seas and coasts, suffocating life with invisible intensity. Yet even here, life adapts. Microbes and extremophiles thriving where larger organisms falter, illustrating that even in the most extreme conditions, resilience quietly persists. Did you know that oxygen collapses have been linked to some of the largest mass extinctions in Earth's history, affecting marine and terrestrial life simultaneously? Imagine the suspense as terrestrial ecosystems experience subtle oxygen stress, high-altitude regions becoming more challenging, metabolic strain altering behaviors, forests adjusting in species composition, and animals migrating or declining, each ecosystem a theater of quiet tension. Every organism a participant in survival. the invisible presence of oxygen, or the lack thereof, shaping life on scales both micro and macro. Consider the poetry of this scenario. The silent molecule shaping the visible world. Life persisting or faltering under its invisible influence. Suspense woven through oceans, skies, forests, and plains, invisible yet critical, reminding us of fragility and resilience, of adaptation and patience, of the quiet, persistent interplay of life and environment. As you imagine the Earth recovering from an oxygen collapse, species slowly rebounding, ecosystems stabilizing, and life cautiously reclaiming balance, feel your own mind syncing with this rhythm of adaptation. Suspense fading into awe and calm, life persisting quietly, resiliently, patiently enduring invisible challenges. The oxygen collapse, a profound reminder of interconnection, scale, and the delicate threads that sustain life. Now, as we prepare to drift toward the next chapter, another extraordinary near-apocalyptic event awaits, one of fire, atmosphere, and planetary balance, where life is challenged by both invisible and visible forces on scales immense and subtle. Let your imagination float gently, securely, as we move toward the story of the next extraordinary event. Picture yourself suspended above Earth, observing both oceans and skies, feeling suspense, awe and calm simultaneously, preparing to witness yet another remarkable near-apocalyptic chapter in the story of life, where persistence, adaptation, and resilience continue to unfold under extraordinary circumstances. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the very skies above you turned against the land? A storm of unimaginable magnitude gathering strength silently, carrying winds, rains, and atmospheric energy capable of reshaping landscapes, challenging human civilizations, and reminding us of nature's raw, unpredictable power. Could a single atmospheric event, invisible in its early stages, bring suspense, and profound transformation simultaneously? Picture yourself standing on a quiet plain, the sun low on the horizon, clouds drifting lazily, a gentle breeze brushing your face. Everything seems ordinary, peaceful, serene, yet far above, the atmosphere begins to gather. Swirling currents intensifying, invisibly warm and cold air masses colliding, creating tension that will eventually erupt in a display of both beauty and terror. The suspense is invisible, yet immense, a quiet storm brewing beyond perception. Superstorms, sometimes called hypercanes, are not ordinary storms, but colossal forces of nature, capable of sustaining winds far beyond hurricanes and typhoons, with energy so immense that entire continents can experience their effects simultaneously. Did you know that during Earth's history, atmospheric superstorms may have been triggered by oceanic heating events, rapid climate changes, or sudden geological disruptions, generating rainfall, wind, and lightning on scales almost unimaginable, capable of reshaping both human and natural landscapes? Imagine the suspense as clouds thicken and winds begin to stir. At first imperceptible, then growing, the tension in the air almost palpable. Birds seeking shelter, leaves trembling, the first droplets falling gently, hiding the immense power still building silently overhead. Life continues below unaware, humans tending daily routines, unaware that energy beyond comprehension is converging above a single shift, a spark. A condensation pattern could unleash force across thousands of kilometers. Picture the storm's formation: winds accelerating, air pressure dropping, currents swirling with invisible intensity, lightning arcing through clouds, rain cascading in sheets. The energy of the storm, invisible to the naked eye until its fury begins to manifest. The suspense is not just in observation, but in anticipation, as the air itself becomes charged with potential waiting to release. The ordinary world hanging delicately between calm and catastrophe. Did you know that such storms, if intensified by climate conditions, could generate winds exceeding hundreds of kilometers per hour? Torrential rains reshaping rivers, triggering floods, landslides, and ecological disruptions far inland. The energy released could rival volcanic eruptions or tectonic events. Yet it is atmospheric, transient, and often unpredictable in its trajectory. Life caught in the web of invisible forces, adapting, enduring, and surviving as the storm unleashes its power. Imagine the storm moving across continents, vast swaths of land experiencing torrential rains, relentless winds, and rising waters, trees bending under pressure, rivers swelling, soil eroding, coastal areas submerged. Yet, even in this chaos, ecosystems respond. Plants adapted to heavy rainfall flourishing, rivers carving new paths, predators adjusting hunting strategies, and humans seeking refuge. Each action, each adaptation, a reflection of resilience, survival, and the quiet ingenuity of life. Picture the aftermath: the sky clearing gradually, clouds dissipating, the wind subsiding to a gentle whisper, rivers returning to calmer courses, forests and plains adapting to altered landscapes, life persisting quietly, ecosystems gradually stabilizing, humanity reflecting on vulnerability and the immense power of atmospheric forces, suspense dissolving into awe, calm, and appreciation for both fragility and resilience. Consider the poetry of the superstorm, the invisible energy building silently over oceans and plains, the sudden eruption of kinetic power across continents, all reflecting the delicate interplay between invisibility, suspense, and consequence. A reminder that life persists not despite, but often alongside, forces beyond comprehension, that adaptation, patience, and ingenuity are essential companions to survival. Imagine yourself floating above the storm, observing its energy dissipate, rivers returning to their courses, forests recovering, and life quietly adapting, feeling suspense, and profound calm simultaneously. The superstorm, both terrifying and mesmerizing, a reminder of scale, energy, and resilience, teaching patience, humility, and the quiet power of adaptation under extraordinary circumstances. Now, as we prepare to drift toward the next chapter, another extraordinary near-apocalyptic event awaits, one of chemical, biological, and planetary interplay, where life faces subtle yet profound invisible pressures, challenging persistence, adaptation, and survival. Let your imagination float gently, securely, as we move toward the story of the next extraordinary event. Picture yourself suspended above Earth, observing both skies and landscapes, feeling suspense, awe, and calm, preparing to witness yet another remarkable near-apocalyptic chapter in the story of life where persistence, adaptation, and resilience continue to unfold under extraordinary circumstances. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like if the invisible shield that protects life from the cosmos began to wobble and shift? A force we cannot see, yet one that guides compasses, migratory creatures, and even shields us from deadly radiation, suddenly altering the magnetic landscape of Earth in ways both subtle and profound. Could a magnetic pole shift, silent and invisible, unsettle life across the planet, reminding us of how delicately our existence is intertwined with forces beyond perception? Picture yourself standing on a quiet hill at twilight, the horizon fading to indigo, stars beginning to pierce the evening sky, the wind soft against your skin. Everything seems ordinary, yet deep within the earth, molten iron flows in the outer core, generating the magnetic field that envelopes the planet. Invisible, constant, protective, yet subject to change over millennia. The suspense is invisible, yet immense, a silent rhythm slowly shifting beneath our awareness. Earth's magnetic field is generated by the motion of molten iron in its outer core, creating a protective shield against solar and cosmic radiation. Did you know that over the past 83 million years, the magnetic poles have flipped multiple times, a process called geomagnetic reversal, where north becomes south and south becomes north? The field weakens, wobbles, and reorients, slowly, imperceptibly at first. Yet, the consequences ripple across ecosystems, technology, and behavior of life on Earth. Imagine the suspense as the field begins to weaken, the poles drifting, compasses losing alignment, migratory birds and marine creatures suddenly confused, using cues that have guided their ancestors for millennia. Altered magnetic patterns challenge salmon returning to spawning rivers, turtles navigating oceans, and birds traveling thousands of kilometers. Every journey now imbued with uncertainty, a quiet suspense threading invisibly through nature. Picture the auroras shifting, appearing in unusual latitudes, the night sky subtly transformed as solar winds interact with the fluctuating field, energy cascading invisibly through the magnetosphere. Did you know that a weakened magnetic field allows higher levels of cosmic and solar radiation to reach Earth's surface, affecting atmospheric chemistry and potentially influencing climate patterns? The planet's invisible forces subtly yet profoundly shaping life's persistence and adaptation. Imagine humans observing compasses spinning unpredictably, satellites slightly off course, and power grids sensitive to geomagnetic surges. Technology subtly challenged by forces entirely invisible yet immensely powerful. The suspense lies not in immediate catastrophe, but in the slow, creeping uncertainty, each system, each species adapting quietly, patiently, under the invisible influence of shifting magnetism. Picture deep ocean currents affected indirectly, influencing migratory species and plankton blooms, altering nutrient distribution, subtly changing ecosystems, while on land, animals exhibit disorientation, behavioral adjustments, subtle shifts in reproductive timing and feeding patterns. Did you know that studies suggest some species may rely on magnetoreception for orientation, a sixth sense tied directly to the magnetic field, illustrating how life depends on invisible forces beyond ordinary perception? Imagine the psychological suspense for humans, observing anomalies, sensing subtle changes in electronics, communications, and even animal behavior, the invisible shifts of the magnetic field creating a quiet, pervasive tension, both intellectual and emotional, prompting reflection on scale, interconnection, and the delicate balance of life. A reminder that forces unseen can shape destinies, silently testing adaptation and resilience. Picture the eventual stabilization, the poles gradually settling into new positions, the magnetic field strengthening, life slowly recalibrating, migratory routes realigned, technology functioning once more. Yet subtle traces of disruption remain, shaping evolution, behavior, and adaptation in ways invisible yet enduring. The suspense dissolving into awe and appreciation for resilience, patience, and life's capacity to endure invisible pressures. Consider the poetry of this scenario. Invisible forces silently shaping life, suspense woven through oceans, skies, and landscapes, the magnetic field, both protector and challenge, reminding us of scale, impermanence, and resilience, that life persists not by resisting, but by adapting to forces both visible and invisible, by attuning to rhythms that span millennia, patience becoming a quiet strength. As you drift in reflection, imagine floating above Earth, observing both magnetic flux and life's adaptation, feeling suspense, awe, and profound calm simultaneously. The magnetic pole shift both mysterious and mesmerizing, a reminder of invisible energy, patience, and the quiet endurance of life. Preparing to transition from the story of near-apocalyptic forces to the gentle reflection on humanity's place within this vast, extraordinary, and enduring planet. Now, as this journey of cosmic and terrestrial suspense draws toward its reflective close, let your mind float gently, secure in the knowledge that life, resilient and persistent, has endured cataclysmic forces before and continues to thrive, adapting silently to invisible and immense pressures. Picture yourself drifting above Earth, suspended between awe and relaxation, having witnessed asteroids, supervolcanoes, solar flares, ice ages, carbon spikes, mega-tsunamis, oxygen collapses, superstorms, and magnetic pole shifts, feeling a quiet appreciation for resilience, adaptation, and the profound patience of life, preparing to settle into sleep, guided by both knowledge and wonder. The vast story of our extraordinary planet, whispering you into gentle, reflective calm,